So you descend from the dark passage that Stevedore had opened up from you, which heads down for what seems like several hundred feet in the almost pitch black, before it finally comes to a small fissure which opens out into an enormous cavern. The walls are curved, so you assume it's either a circle or a extremely large oval shape, and straight ahead of you, you can sort of see the outline shadows of what appears to be a whole load of a ruined skyline of a town or some buildings or whatever. When you look at the walls to the left and the right of you, the rock is shot with veins of this white rock, which doesn't seem that unusual until you watch it, and occasionally it appears to pulse as if it was a vein. You can hear the noises of crashing rocks and buildings like you heard when you were first swallowed, and they're coming from ahead and to the right of you.
Does this cavern smell acidic?
It does smell a little acidic.
All right.
Steve had told you that this was the gizzard, this level.
So do we go towards the sound or away from it?
Didn't we have to do something about, what's the word I want? Like annoying the gizzard so it spat we're out?
Was it the gullet or the anus that we're going for? Because, it's all the way out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I suggest heading towards it in the hope we can get out.
Yeah.
It's a few hundred meters ahead of you. You can see the enormous outline of what looks like a ruined cityscape. There seems to be a gap to walk round to the right of it or to the left of it. But the crunching and grinding sound is coming from ahead and to the right. But it seems quite far off and it echoes a little bit.
Well, if it's ahead and to the right, I think.
I'll go with that. I shall sneak off that direction, I think.
Then I'll give you cover.
Wilbond crashes loudly across the terrain. Some hunter you are, Wilbond.
I know.
As the last person steps out from the secret door, the rock behind it begins to flow and meld as if it was a wound healing up until there's no visible sign of a secret door or there was any passage there whatsoever.
I think we're going this way, boys. I'll creep after Wilbond's stealthy stomping.
Okay, so you creep a little way ahead. Now, as you were standing and the Wilbond stamps across, you all see walking towards you from the direction of the ruined town a humanoid figure, and it seems to be carrying something on its shoulder. As it gets close, you see that it's a naked human-sized figure. It has no external genitals, and where its head should be is just a big square block.
Do I have an elder law roll?
And he makes it.
You're almost certain that you've never heard anything like this whatsoever.
That's a new one on me, boys.
Is there any place we can hide? Or is there no cover for miles around?
Does it seem to have noticed?
Can you say that? That's kind of the effect. It's coming almost straight towards you at a steady walking pace.
Possibly, can it not see us? Does it not know we're there?
We've got no eyes.
So maybe if we just get out of its road and let it past.
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
It approaches and you see that its featureless, hairless skin, a strange off-white colour.
Can we see, does it look like, is it skin or does it look like, is it marble or something or what?
It does appear to be skin.
Well, I want to back off with the javelin ready.
You back off. What about the rest of yous?
Yeah.
This thing, whatever it is, walks slowly without changing pace, and it gets to a range where it would almost certainly see you, and it continues walking, and against the cave wall, more or less where you came in, it seems to stack this block of stone in a particular pattern, and then it turns around and it starts walking back towards the ruined buildings.
Is the one stone by itself, or are there others?
There's just one.
Move around, or do we follow it?
It's not building on that piece. Can I go and look at the piece of stone? There's not a bit of face on it, is there?
No, it just looks like a random piece of building that's been broken off. It doesn't seem to be anything special about it.
Peculiar. But then again, everything in it's a little bit weird.
Now, what did you do, chaps?
I'm happy with leaving it alone and seeing if we can find a way out.
I think that's very wise.
Why don't we follow it back the way it came? Because maybe that's towards where the noise is coming from.
I like this plan.
I'll stick with everyone else, so
Do that
if
one.
everyone goes that way, I'll follow you.
It's heading straight into what you estimate to be the centre of the cavern, and you walk for about 5 minutes or so, and as you follow it, you see what appears to be another one carrying, again, another lump of stone. It's coming straight towards the other one, as if they're on a collision course. And then at the last second, when they would walk into each other, they each take a step to the side and walk past each other. And now that you're closer, you can see in the cavern ahead of you, it looks like a lot of broken buildings and rubble. And you are guessing, as this is the gizzard, that it's coming down from the top somewhere, the mouth.
Is there any more of these about?
Well, as you approach the actual ruined town, you see a lot more. A small pack of these things picking through the rubble, moving bricks to one side, and occasionally one will stop and he'll lift a particular piece of rubble up, and then he sort of puts it on his shoulder, turns, and starts walking towards the direction you've come from.
Well, if this is where we want to be, and we've got to irritate the gizzard so it spits we're out, how do you irritate stone?
Have a fire and be your father, Geppetto.
I could talk to it for a while. That usually has an effect. If it's a woman, it'll be irritated pretty quickly.
I watched these figures for a little while, Rich. These stones that they're picking up, does it seem to be anything similar? You know, is it the size, the shape? Is it something it's made out of? You know, have they all got a similarity or what? Or is it random?
No, to your eyes, it all looks just like random bits of rubble, but they're shifting other bits of rubble aside, and then it's as if they're finding something and then picking it up and walking it off. To your eyes, what they're moving apart to the side to get at this stuff is no different to the stuff they're taking away.
I am going to go back to where they're building the blocks up.
Yeah.
And wait until none of them are near and to go and examine what these blocks are made of. Are they all made of the same sort of stone? Are they like all brickwork? Are they all like part of a fresco? Are they all what particular colour? They all smell the same.
No, there seem to be a random collection of stone rubble.
And are they piling it on top of each other in particular, or is it just a pile?
It's not a pile, it's laid on each other very precise. They're not symmetrical in any way, so it's not like a pile of bricks, but they're actually, you know, fitting them in like Tetris pieces to make a lovely, nice square.
So these could be the nutrients.
It's either stuff it needs or stuff it doesn't need, and it's getting rid of it.
Well, yeah, that's the point, isn't it? I wonder if this is stuff it can't digest. I mean, you wouldn't. I mean, it's not like they're taking a massive amount of stuff, are they?
No.
Well, I think we should go back to where Earl is, because we're not really learning much next to a ruined town, are we?
I think we should walk around the outside, see if they've placed any more of these bricks,
Yes,
you know, somewhere, and maybe if it's put it in a certain shape or they've just dumped them or what.
That could be an idea. These could be nutrients that they're removing to go to certain parts of the body. And so this might not be the only place to go to.
So, is there any of these buildings look like there might be like a rich mansion with full of treasure?
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely looks like there could be a rich mansion full of treasure.
If you find any, Dave, let me know.
I think we should have a scout around the edge to see if there's any more of these sites where they're piling stuff up. I think that was a good idea Bracey had.
So which way do you want to head? Do you want to head towards the noise, or do you want to head away from the noise?
You know these buildings? Are they coming in from above? Like, is there a big opening above us somewhere? Sort of.
You can't see one from where you are, but you can hear something coming from where you're standing, Earl. If you've got your back to the wall that you came out of, it's sort of at like 2 o'clock. Right, you strike out across the cavern. So as you push on just a little further, out of the gloom you see a gigantic hole, but this one is leading up at a sharp angle, and it's almost as if you can see all of the buildings and rubble crashing down from above.
Ah, so that's the entrance.
That's the mouth.
You can't get past this opening without going through the buildings.
Now, I suspect if we go around the other way, we'll eventually get to the exit.
Excuse me, can you direct me to the arsehole? So are we having a show of hands? Who votes mouth and who votes arsehole?
Mouth.
Arse.
Well, there is a third option. Well, there's
Is there
a
now?
couple of other options, and I have a genius idea, but it is a bit mad. Right? We could climb into that aorta thing, get into its central nervous system, keep heading up till we find its brain, and then play football with whatever we find in there.
Strange enough, that would work, but it is huge, and we'll be playing this for quite some time. But I'm okay with that.
Or because the adventure probably expects us to escape and not actually kill the city-eating god thing. And I have a reputation for doing things to adventures that are not meant to be done. Or the other option is we can go and find the cult and overcome it. Not quite sure how we'll do that. But the
Kill them
cult
all.
sounds like people, and people are more choppy than giant monsters. And they probably won't expect us, which is another advantage.
Well, I certainly didn't expect you to go, right, fuck it, we're going to go deeper.
My vote is definitely out. Out. I would be out.
Yes, but there's only two ways out. One of them is
No, there's two ways out that you think you know of.
we know of, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't sort of gathered all of the data, shall we say.
Yeah.
Oh, where's your friendly god-sized chest burster when you need one?
Does anybody have a whole shitload of laxatives?
If I remember rightly, Earl's got a full pocket of sausages.
Uh-huh.
It does.
Oh, that's a point. That's a point. I'll start chewing on a 3D old sausage.
That's got to be a song that Earl's got a full pocket of sausages.
If not, somebody should write it. Right, so you can cross the cavern, but you'd have to go through the buildings, or you can retrace your steps and head to the south and see where that leads you.
I think we should head to the south and see where that leads us, because data is important.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay.
Right, so you head south along the edge of the buildings or along the wall?
The wall. Buildings are dangerous near them unless I have to.
Right, so you get past where the strange creatures are building that blocks, and at this point you see another huge opening leading off, but not quite as large, and the buildings actually come out and almost touch the wall, but then it seems to widen out. But at this point the buildings almost make the cavern wall, so there's only the width of maybe a street. You've got to walk round the cavern. It looks like the buildings sort of curve round, heading from south east, just straight down south.
Right. Let's go carefully.
You head down and you're walking down the street. There's eerie noises of cracking and rubble shifting. When you get to the part that is almost up against the wall, you hear a low, feral growl. You recognise the growl as the sound of some kind of big cat. And from atop a building, you look up and you see a giant feline creature. It looks like a lion, but it's got a scary, almost human face. It's about twice the size of a man, and it has a great scorpion tail and a pair of bat wings on the back. And it sort of stretches the way a cat would. It puts its two paws out and cocks its head to one side and says, "Well, Mr. Walktapus, this seems to be a very delicious meal that's come our way." And then, horrifically, a tentacle comes around the side of a building, followed by another, like a pair of hands that will come around. But this is like a tentacle covered in suckers, and the flesh is squid-like, a white colour, and it's oozing some awful black ichor. And you feel affirmative. This great creature stretches its paws, and you can see tangled around its wing and down under one of its legs, what looks like a carpenter's apron. You're in a rubble-strewn street.
I'm throwing a javelin at the cat creature, I think.
The cat creature says, "Would you mind, can I just finish my exposition, please?" And he says, I
We'll find
don't
that
know
pudding
about
goes.
you, Mr. Walktapus, but I am so hungry. And then you feel hunger. And you are so hungry that you notice your mouth is actually salivering. Standing up from behind the wall is a human creature which has an octopus where its head would be.
Oh dear.
Okay, I might actually aim for that because I might be less scared of the cat. That's the Walktapus and the Carpenter, right?
Paddy, are you throwing your javelin at something?
And I think it'll be Walktapus.
Right, 11 damage to the right leg. Oh, that's quite a bad. So the javelin sinks deep into its leg, causing a big cut. The tentacles all flash out. The skin flashes black and red, and then you all feel hurt, and then you feel anger. Right, can we roll to see who goes first, please, gentlemen? There'll be no talking here as Paddy has skewered the thing with a javelin. Why do my beasts always go last? Right, Rualin, what do you want to do?
I'd better try my sling, I think, at Mr. Walktapus.
You succeed on the left leg.
There we go.
It seems to cause a minor bruise. Mr. Walktapus is not happy with you. As you all feel pain and you all wince as you all feel pain in your left leg. McLovin.
I will try a slingshot as well. Mr. Walktapus. No, I miss.
Will Bont. Right, you hit it on the right leg. It only does a minor damage. You see as it strikes, it's got awful rubbery skin. Crodan?
I will shoot it with my bow.
Left leg again. 3. The arrow bounces off its rubbery skin.
Rich,
Croydon?
can I abandon my second shot and duck out a line of sight?
Yeah, absolutely.
I will do that. Because I don't
Right.
want them to see what I'm going to do.
Blondel.
I'll attempt to shoot that manticore.
Right. The left hind leg takes 10 damage. Ooh, nasty.
Nice.
He howls and he says, "You'll pay for that."
Shook him alone.
Right. Excellent, Mr. Walktapus. Right, Mr. Walktapus sprays a virulent green cloud and you lose sight of him. Right. The Carpenter raises his back like wings. He lifts himself several meters into the air, and then he holds his tail aloft and shing, the tail's like a porcupine raising his spikes. Spikes the size of your forearm spring from the tail, and he fires them back at Dave, who shot him.
Dodge is a wonderful skill.
Mr. Carpenter is not a happy fellow. Right, Dave. Tail spines.
Ouch.
12 damage to the right leg, Dave.
I will attempt to dodge.
Excellent choice. You succeed, you son of a bitch. Right, so that one misses. He fires another, which is penalty for a second attack. 25 critical to the right leg. Impale.
Oh, dear,
Ow.
Dave.
Can I dodge that one as well?
You can dodge, but you're at minus 20% on your dodge roll, so you have to try.
Could I use a rune to boost my skill?
Yeah, absolutely. You can try to use a rune. Right, you succeed. So you're at normal dodge because you're at 20% bonus, so you're at 49% again. Roll another dodge. He fails. Blondel fails. This arm-long spine shoots into your leg, Dave. You take a maximum of...
That's coming off.
It's an impale, luckily, so it just maims the leg. And it's stuck through. So it's literally stuck through his thigh, through the bone, and is sticking out of the other side.
That probably hurts.
You need to make a Dex times 3 roll to remain standing, and then you need to make a Constitution roll. That's the first 0-1 I've rolled as an NPC, I think.
Yeah, well, don't make it a habit.
Well, you should have fired at the Walktapus, Dave.
Okay, Dave, you feel the bite of venom soaking into the wound. You succeeded, but you still take potency halved as poison damage. But not yet, luckily. Mr. Carpenter is now at minus 40 for his third shot. So you look down as this thing pierces your leg. You feel a pain like you've never felt, and then you fall backwards and collapse on the floor. Third shot is going to fire at Wilborn because you hurt Mr. Walktapus.
Yep.
A success. 9 damage on the right leg.
I shall attempt to dodge.
So that pierces you for 9 damage on the right leg.
Okie dokie.
But it doesn't stick in. It does, however, mean that you feel the venom bite and you have to make a constitution roll. Right, okay, so you fail, so that is full poison damage. Right, end of round. Rualin. Mr. Walktapus is behind this green cloud, and you're unable to see him.
So you can't really try Raycon by fire in this game, can you?
Unfortunately not. If you only had an arm-mounted tac duke, you could certainly have a go.
I'm going to keep me sling handy.
Yeah.
But I'm going to draw my short sword and hide behind Kane.
McLovin.
I will.
The Carpenter is flying 3 meters above the ground and heading towards you with his tail held up like a striking snake with the spikes are extended. And you can see that it can fire multiples of them.
I will cast Disruption.
Roll your chance to cast, sir. Do you succeed?
Special.
It does. That is enough. Roll your D3 damage. You absolute beast.
Wow.
Wow, nice. It takes 1 damage. Right, Wilbont, my old son.
Last javelin at the
Carpenter.
Oh, nice.
The javelin is an impale through the tail. And how much damage can a tail take? This is the question.
I don't know what's bad about being poisoned now.
However, 18 damage will disable the tail, which droops and hangs limply, so you can no longer fire.
Lovely.
Nice.
You
one.
muted him. Nice shot.
Crawdon, you're up next.
I will focus my death rune and use it to enhance my spell casting to cast fire arrow.
Okay.
You just failed.
Roll me cast chance at minus 10, please.
Success.
Oh, you beautiful man.
You cast fire arrow, so you get to shoot at the end of the round then.
Good, because at the end of the round, I'm going to sure shot him. Because you can combine sure shot and fire arrow.
Yes, you can. Right, Blondel. Make a strength roll.
Nope.
You fail. Okay, and I was going to say, and then a con roll for the pain to avoid passing out. Right, so you grasp firmly the spike sticking out your leg. You heave with all your might. Your face goes red, but it's just too painful, and you start panting, and you have to stop.
So does it have to come out before he gets healed?
Yep.
Well, it would heal around it, but he's probably going to feel it even worse.
Yeah, it really. My advice as an impartial GM is you really need to get that thing out and get it healed before the poison lands.
Somebody pull the fucking thing out for us.
So, Blondel fails his turn. Right. Mr. Walktapus from behind the green cloud. You all feel anger and then flee and then revenge. But basically, you don't see him from behind this green cloud. The Carpenter, he turns and he says, I'll be back, food. Tasty little morsels. And then flies down and heads round behind the building, out of sight.
Rich?
Yeah.
When it's my turn, even if he's out of my direct sight, all I need is a glimpse of him. So I will run in the direction of the slightest glimpse.
I will aim you aiming at him while casting the arrow and following him, so I'll give you the shot.
Sure shot.
Right, so Bracey, you need to roll D100. He only misses on a 96 to 100. So you do a normal hit, Earl. When you cast Rune Magic, you invoke the aspect of your god, so what does it look like when you cast the sure shot spell?
Basically, it shoots from behind the cover I'm in,
through, like down the side of a thing, starts to glow blue, then black as it launches round and goes right up his tailpipe.
Yeah, so the camera follows it in. Also, basically, it manifests itself on you.
Well, my entire bow seems to grow when I fire it, and the string stops dead when I let go of it. Instead of like reverberating, just stops as the shot
Then
loses.
there's like a little shockwave comes off it, sort of like boom.
Yeah, boom.
Yeah.
All little bits of dust fly, motes fly up behind it as it speeds through.
Bracy, can you roll me 3d6 for the damage for the fire arrow? 15 damage. Right.
Bracy, can you kiss yourself for me, please?
Right. So all you hear from around the corner is a loud scream, which is suddenly cut off, and then you all feel sadness, regret, revenge.
Let's go fishing, boys.
Now what do? Mr. Walktapus doesn't reappear. The cloud dissipates, and where he was, he is gone.
We will keep our eyes on a swivel. Thing that I was wondering. You know, detect enemy gives you an awareness.
Yes.
Could you use detect enemy to get an awareness of something to shoot it with a sure shot if it was within range and line of sight?
I would allow it, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't give several fucks. So who's yanking this out of Davy's leg?
Well, I'll hold him down.
No, we'll all hold him down. We'll get Bobbin too.
Yeah.
Right.
So somebody who's strong, man.
Bobbin holds him down.
I know what I meant, Dave. I don't know who's strongest. Kane, probably.
There's 3 people get hold of you, Dave. 2 of you hold you down, 1 yanks. If you roll a 96 to 0-0, you fail. Otherwise, you yank this thing out. Right. So with the scream, Dave, this thing comes out of your leg. The bone hangs limply. Roll a con times 5 or you pass out from the sheer agony of it.
Well, me Granny used to say, just rub some mud on it and walk it off.
I just walk it off.
Magic sponge.
What are we
get
doing?
the last of my Granny's favourite brandy out and pour it in the wound to try and
half and half.
Yeah, I'll try and do a treat poison, and then I'm at a loss because I'm down to 1 rune magic point, and I dare not use it in case I need to shoot the Walktapus.
If Dave doesn't get a heal wound backed by at least 6 magic points, that leg's going to be permanently disabled.
Oh well, I'll have a go.
You cast it, Pad, then choose a number of magic points that you wish to use. I don't know how many you've used already.
I've used 6. I'm not going to be able to use it in combat anyway, so must be power being crap.
If you're getting healed body, I'll try to treat poison up before he gets healed body, since I won't be able to.
I've got a magnificent 15 in treat poison. Do you think I should have a go?
Can't hurt. Well, can if you fumble, but it's Runequest. If you fumble everything out.
Will Bond, don't forget to take. Will Bond sucks out some of the poison. This was unexpected. Now I need to find out what the treat poison skill does, because I've never actually expected anybody to succeed. You're lucky this con isn't that bad. Right, Dave, so you've healed 6 hit points. That puts your leg at 0. But it's reattached to bone.
How much use will first aid be?
You heal a D3 damage, or if you roll a special, you roll a D3 plus... Sorry, 2D3. If you roll a critical, you heal a D3 plus 3. So it can be good.
Right. I think Bracy mentioned it, but I've got it, so I'll give it a whirl. Bugger.
Right. So you poke David in the hole and go, look, saw that.
You want to put a plaster on that, mate?
Should I have a go at the same?
You can have a go. Ooh, Paddy, you were 1 point away from making the wound worse. You can have a go, but if somebody succeeds, you can only first aid a wound once.
I'll go heal then.
Yeah, you can cast heal. That's not a problem.
I'll put a point into his leg.
What, a whole one?
A whole point.
Wow, nice.
I think I had used that. It's on healing before, hadn't I? So I'm on 0 now.
Well, if you're on 0, you pass out for 12 hours. So you're probably
right?
best not to.
I'm doing 2 healing on him then.
Yeah.
I've given myself 1 healing point as well. I'll make it 2.
Right, so Paddy, roll 36. 6 points of potency. So several minutes later, Wilbon sucks the poison out of his own leg, which quite frankly is a sight for all to see.
It's flash.
Yeah.
What is it in the back of the tie?
Roll 36. So you get 6. Right.
Okay. You do that to yourself while you're adventuring.
The poison hits. Paddy, you saved, so you got half potency anyway, and it's rounded down in your favour, and you just managed. So you feel a little flush, and the wound burns a bit, but you don't take any extra damage.
That's a relief.
Yeah, Dave would have died instantly, but he got to treat poison because he's already taken 6 poison from the spider bite. And so your character sheet says it has a potency of 13, and you reduce that by 6, so you take 7 hit points permanent damage. Well, not permanent, but poison damage. Dave has now got 5 hit points that can't be healed until the poison is out of his system. Enjoy all of those hit points, Dave.
While this is all going on, Rich, can I make myself useful and recover any of Wilbon's javelins?
Right, you go over, but the javelins that stuck in Mr. Walktapus, that black ichor has actually dissolved the end of them.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. There's one impaled in the tail.
Yeah, you can go around the corner and have a look for Mr. Carpenter, who's got one stuck through the tail.
Did I get him right in the bullseye, by the way?
It did, yes. Yeah, there's a very surprised dead manticore lying outside with an arrow sticking out of its asshole.
Well, with short sword in hand and eyes on a swivel, I shall see if I can recover Wilbon's javelin, and I may as well recover Earl's arrow as well.
Oh, I don't want that.
Andy, you keep that, mate. That's yours.
I think when you use fire arrow,
it consumes the arrow. Yes, yeah. So there's no arrow sticking out. It's just how can I put this out? It's just got a burnt ring, as it were, Andy. There's a burnt patch of fur around where his ring piece is. What a way to go!
It looks like it was jet propelled for a few seconds.
Well, in that case, if I can recover the javelin, I'll go and give it back to Wilbon.
Yeah. You, the only thing about the manticore, Andy, is it has like the carpenter's belt, but you sort of prod it with your short sword, and it doesn't look like it's been worn deliberately. It looks like it's got entangled around its wing and round its leg, and it couldn't get it off. So there's no like treasure or anything in there.
Right. I never even thought to search it for treasure.
Yeah, you did. Don't you fib?
No, actually, I was wondering about harvesting spikes for poison.
I did think about that as well, but the fact that it could be chaotic put me off.
You can do that, but you have to roll a dex times 5, and if you fumble, you stab yourself.
I'm not that desperate.
Right, so somehow you now have to keep Dave alive, who only has 5 hit points. Unless you're going to top Earl off. Earl's walking around currently on 6 hit points.
Yeah, I'm going to top myself up, actually. How much stored magic points have I got left?
Let's have a look. This is what I like to see, a war of attrition. Sorry, I'm a impartial DM.
Yeah.
You're on the monster's side. You give them clothes, spines, wings. We never get wings.
You never ever get wings. Right, personal magic points. You've got 11 magic points at the moment.
I've used at least 2 fire arrows out of it, and they're 2 pointers. So
yeah,
I'll use my storage crystal and just
top yourself off for 6.
Yeah.
Right, so I'll put you. So your storage crystal's got 1. You've got 11 personal and 1 power storage crystal. Right, so that little piece of poison drama aside, some people are looking sickly and nauseous.
I'll offer them a sausage.
Yeah. Earl has several sausages that he's kept in his pocket. They've got lovely fluff on them.
They're warm.
They're warm.
I'll have a warm sausage.
Right, fine for me.
A warm, gristly. Remember, the gristle is the best bit, Earl. Your nan taught you that.
Gristle's the best bit.
Right, after that little piece of drama, you can continue round. Are you sticking round the outskirts of the buildings now at this point?
Yeah. Well, we can easily sort of, spread out a bit in that area, so we can sort of keep an eye on both areas, because we're not, rather than being single file, we'll go like 3 abreast.
Okay, and in that case, right, so you two give us a scan roll, or rather, Brissy roll 2 scan rolls.
Brissy, give us 2 scan rolls. I'll look around, then look to Brissy to see if I've seen anything.
Well,
Brissy rolls a fumble. So
you succeed, Crodan.
Hey.
Okay, Crodan, you are keeping an eye on the wall. You do see what appears to be a large group of humanoids. Upon closer examination, it looks like there's a bunch of dark trolls dragging some humanoid-sized figures that are tied with ropes. It looks like quite a reasonable-sized war party. There are at least as many of them as there are of you, and they are heading straight east towards the cavern wall, away from the buildings.
I will grab hold of Bracey, pull him towards the floor and go, and I'll motion everyone to get down.
So you slap on a bit of James Brown. I feel good. And then everybody gets down. The rest of you see Earl gesturing and then like ducks low.
If there's anybody ducks low around here, it's me.
Yeah, Andy himself's down. Right, so they pass off and head straight to the east. And
do the humanoids they've got vaguely look like stone guys with blockheads?
No, they look to be like normalish humanoids. The other thing you notice, there seems to be an opening in that direction, but it's too dark to make it out fully. To the south, there's a large outcropping of rock. You seem to have come to the end of the rubble that's coming down, and it's starting to curve round back towards the other side of the cavern.
Got you.
The veins on the opposite side of the rock from where you are seem thicker and more numerous, and they're actually, the pulses are heading in that direction.
Have the trolls now left? Gone down that passage?
They went east, yes, dragging the people away with them.
Were they all trolls, or was the trollkin with them?
So was Trollkin with them.
How many roughly did I say? Like
I said, it was quite dark, but you estimate there's at least as many of them as there are of you. So quite a sizable war party.
So there's like 8 or 9 of them, probably about 4 or 5 of them trollkin, sort of roughly.
Yeah, roughly that. Yeah.
Right. I will give them a moment to get out of earshot, although there's a lot of noise going on here. And then I'll gather everyone together and explain what I've seen. There's checking trials. Trials are not goodly. If we're lucky, there's a Raxaranis, because at least with them we share a common enemy. If they're out else, we're getting eaten, unless they're Arganagas, and then we're getting sold and then eaten. We should go and have a look at this bulge, and then I'm for following the trolls. I don't know about you guys. Because they had prisoners of some sort, which could be useful. But we're not exactly flush on magic. So if we do end up fighting the trolls, we'll need to kill them real quick.
We're not the best stakes either, I don't think.
And the best, sorry?
Sneaks.
Yeah, well...
At the snakes.
Well, the good thing is, like I say, the noise will help us a little. But...
Okay, so as you head a little south, you see a very faint white glow, and there's an opening in the cavern wall at floor height. This one, however, doesn't look like the other openings, which were naturally formed. It's like a jagged tear, and you'd see, as you get a little closer, blockheads carrying something in and then carrying something out. And the cavern wall continues round, as does the ruined buildings of the town.
Can we see what it's carrying in and out?
It would certainly get closer to them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a rock ulcer it's got.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Right,
you head close, and it looks like the ones going in are carrying a variety of items from the ruined buildings, various building materials and what have you. The ones coming out are carrying a thick, viscous material, about the consistency of no more nails. It's sort of white, but then it's shot through with veins of grey and red.
Does it smell bad?
Are you going to walk right up to one and have a sniff?
I'm going to get close enough to, if it's pungent, to smell it.
Right, well, it's not overly pungent from a
All
distance.
Right. Is there a constant stream, or is there enough space to sort of have a look in without getting run over by a blockhead?
There's a lot more than you've previously seen, and also you can see, because now you've moved quite close to this opening to have a smell. Also, you can see on the other side of the openings, there's more of those thick white veins, which are quite a lot in this area, but they are heading towards this area as if they're converging on this tear in the wall of the cave.
If they're going behind, like where that tear is, maybe that's where we need to get to.
I mean, that's a good point.
In order to irritate the gizzard.
We'll watch one go in, wait for it to come out, and then I'll have a duck in and have a look.
Take me out of it.
What, you're not coming in, Andy?
Yeah, I'll go in with Earl.
I'm not stopping out here on me one. I'll go with them.
Right. So you creep forward, and it opens up into a strange-looking room. Right, at one end is an enormous pillar with a gigantic face on. The face sort of resembles Steve the Door and the Mad Butcher. The walls in here look torn and damaged, and those thick veins of white rock with the pulsing lead down either side of the chamber to the back end. However, the back end of the room, the wall is actually torn open, and behind several feet of solid rock, you see this writhing mass of sort of white gungy stuff. There's tentacles and polyps come off it. The tentacles sort of keep coming out and then reabsorbing themselves. You watch as there's a series of those blockheaded creatures. They're bringing the raw material from the ruined town, and it looks like they're trying to rebuild the stone or repair the stone, or the head is standing there, and it seems to be directing them. It's saying weird things in Earth speech, which Paddy understands. And the blockheads seem to be responding to, and it's saying things like, number 743 here, place your part here, number 74247, please lift that part out there, remove that damaged area. That's what it's saying in Earth speech. To the rest of you, it just like sounds like somebody standing there with a bag full of rocks, banging them together.
We could engage with the head, with the face. It seems quite busy, though. Does it seem to have noticed us?
Not at the moment. I'm assuming you just crouched in the entrance.
Yeah.
To the sides, letting the blockheads get in and out.
Is there any mileage in us attacking this gloopy lump of stuff?
Well, if they're removing the gloopy lumpy stuff, it probably means that
the white bits of the gloopy lumpy stuff is behind this shatter or tear in the wall. The bits that they're removing have got the black and the red straight through it, and they're taking out those bits, leaving just the plain white gloopy stuff.
Oh,
So maybe
so
that's
the white
like
gloopy stuff is like the healy stuff, and the red horrible terry stuff is the bad stuff. Assuming that they're trying to fix something.
All I was thinking was if we attacked the white gloopy stuff, that might irritate the gizzard enough into spitting us out.
Did Stevedore mention any of his other brothers?
He mentioned them, but he didn't name them.
Yeah.
He said there was a custodian in each level.
We could try talking to it. And if that doesn't work, we could try smashing its teeth in.
Yeah, well, if we did offer to do it a favour, it might do us a favour back.
Only if that doesn't work, if this white pulsing, oozing sort of stuff is more like the inner organs, shall we say, or whatever's under the skin. If talking to this head or dealing with his head doesn't work, maybe if we set about that, that would make this ulcer cut, whatever it is, worse, which would irritate it.
Yeah, I think that might be how we have to go. We definitely have to do some vandalisation either way. Because sitting in here won't be enough. We'll have to actually break shit.
That's not like you, Lobo.
That's not like us.
Are you all in agreement? You want to just make the plan and then you go 1, 2, 3, go, and then it like pauses and it's like, on next week's episode of Old Men Play Runequest, usually mid-dash with swords out, Richter's shouts of like, ah,